forever be an Edomite. You are not just an Edomite in this life, you're an Edomite in the next life, and the next life. You will forever be an Edomite. This is what the Bible says. You will never be an Israelite. I will never be an Israelite. You will never be an Israelite.
When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. Don't nobody wanna face the truth about how we really got here. Want us to forget about slavery like it never happened. But them slave ships important, a key connection to our past. Read Deuteronomy 28 to help you feel what I'm saying. We were forced on this land, allowed by Yahweh's hand, but it was all for a purpose, part of a bigger plan. They still talk about the Holocaust, ignore our mass genocide. We ain't been propagated again. This country built on lies. Yeah, I know y'all ain't the ones who put us in chains, but them y'all ancestors, that blood still run through your veins. Plus your status in society is cause you reap them benefits from the corners that was sold. Please don't try to act ignorant like your forefathers was innocent and the issues don't concern you. They've been reincarnated, your ancestors are you. Look at the way that you treat us, shoot us down in the streets, throw us in cages like animals. This ain't the land of the free. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. That's our salvation. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. You touched the apple of his eye. This something you won't get away with. They understand what they face. I see it in their eyes when they look at my friends. They know Israel rising, dry bones being awakened. The kingdom's eyes for the taking. We renewing our minds, shaking all lies from Satan. Eat them the vessels of wrath, and they been fitted for destruction. I'll never be cool with my oppressor. The Bible tell me not to trust them. Still God is knowledge, but fools despise instruction. They need a Bible college for wisdom. The Holy Spirit instructs me. Sucklers need milk, they can't digest. Can't meet, just unlearn. So they misinterpret John 3:16. Saying Christ died for all, but everybody don't need saving. Deliverance is the essence of our eternal salvation. Inheritance is Israel. God deals with no other nation. His words can't come back void, your emotions won't make it. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. When this kingdom come and this will be done, I know vengeance is the Lord's. They gon' pay for what they done. That's our salvation. You just wanna do what you feel because you're living in the flesh. You got comfort in captivity, but this is not your race. Micah 2:10. We ain't adopt European culture, it was pushed on us. This nation ain't under God, they enemies are winning. Everything he told us don't do, they making it legal. Killing babies before birth, man, abortion is evil. A child is a child, even if it's a fetus. I'm tired of the lies, all they do is mislead us. On my knees I'm pleading, and the lies don't believe them. They deceitful creatures, such as dry like leeches. On our ancestor back, they built this wicked nation. Ain't no way to make it right, it ain't no justification. Hell counsels on our behalf and set up indoctrination. LGBTQ, I don't care, it's abomination. You can't cancel me, cause I don't want the fame. I just wanna wake up my people and break the chain. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do what you feel, yeah, yeah. Cause you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So how you gonna say you got faith when you ain't got no work? Gotta afflict your flesh, you put the Most High first. But you just wanna get drunk and you just wanna pop perk. But you just wanna get high until you ride the earth. He don't want lip service, it's the heart he serves. If we keep the commandments, we could break these curses. Listen close to these verses. The scripture immersed in them. Repent from sin. You gotta stop living in them. Them snakes got venom in them. The strike will kill you. That life you're living will leave you defenseless. Wake up, Israel. This might be your last chance. MJ last dance. You can't come back. Take advantage of the life you were blessed with. Get the most high that attention that your flesh get. I know it feel good, but it's killing ya. Use the Bible like a mirror and fix your spirit up. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do what you feel, yeah, yeah. Cause you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do what you feel. Can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain. How you gonna try to coach if you don't know the game? You gon' get on the field and pick the wrong place. Instead of seeking help, you wanna do your own thing. When we young, we all feel like we know it all. I was the same way and ended up behind the walls. I lost my grandma and grandpa while I was gone. Didn't get to say my goodbyes, had to remain strong. While I was away, my baby mama gave birth to my daughter. When I needed to be around, I couldn't cause I was locked up. Got out and when I thought things wouldn't getting no worse, my daughter mama got sick. Started to feel like I was cursed. A few months later, cancer would take her from earth. I took life for granted and ended up getting hurt. Pain. Time is something you can lose and can never get back. This world will hit you with pain and you can't hit back. Can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain. Yeah. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain, pain. No pain, no. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain, pain. No pain, no gain. Changed my life, but unfortunately my home is stuck in the street. Got the phone call by Tracy, long live DT. He got killed on the same block we hustled on. He was like my little brother, man, now he gone. Last time I saw him, I told him to be careful. Cause them bricks in Mobile streets deadly. He just had bought a Camaro and got a good job. Trying to be a better man, but his life got raw. Had one foot in, didn't get the chance to pull it out. They caught him lacking, didn't get the chance to pull it out. Growing up in the hood, feel like it's no other route. If you still in the streets, I pray you make it out. Don't get trapped in the trap. It's a setup. Satan unleashing the tax and he won't let up. I can't alter your path, but I hope you heed my heads up. And no matter what happens, just keep your head up. Can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain. Yeah. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain, pain. No pain, no. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain. No, you can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain, pain. You just wanna do what you feel because you're living.
Shalom, 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 family.
Shalom, shalom.
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 Brother Devon gonna be bringing a lesson today. Brother, you can tell them what the title is.
The water. And so basically what we're going to be going into is the lineage of the giants during the flood or around the flood. And so because it's a lot of misconception, and then through that misunderstanding, it's a lot of false doctrines that come from that. So we're just going to kind of go into it and go through the lineages and show, that indeed the giants were created from man. It didn't have any other like supernatural encounterment that happened.
All praise.
And so you want me to go ahead and take over from here?
I'm gonna go ahead and just everybody, shalom, the water for everybody joining. If you could make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share the video if you haven't already. And all praise to the Most High, man. You got it, brother.
All right, the water. And so I'm gonna start off with giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His Son Yahushua. And so, like I said, once again, we're gonna go into the lineage of the giants during or around the time of the flood. And so we're gonna kind of go through these precepts and basically prove that these giants indeed just came from humans. That is no type of union of angels or something like that that created these giants, because that's where it's a whole nother lesson of going into the sons of God thing. We'll do that at a different time, but we're just gonna namely talk about the giants. So if anybody got any precepts, you can put them in the comments as well. If any brothers, if you got any precepts at any point, you can interject. And so if you don't mind, brother, could you start off with Genesis chapter 7, verse 23?
Con. Genesis chapter 7, verse 23.
Con.
And it reads, "And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowls of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark."
You mind reading that again? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Salaki. "And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the earth, of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark."
Con. And so at the time of the flood, everybody was destroyed except for Noah, his wife, and his descendants, and and so forth. And so pretty much at this time, we know that it's nobody that has any type of DNA from some angels that's up on this ark. Everybody. So at that time, if you have the notion that these people produced the giants because of some type of angelic thing that happened, at this point it's over because everybody was dead, and we know Noah or his wife and all those people didn't have that type of DNA. And so now let's go to Genesis chapter 8, verse 15 and 16.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 15. "And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons, wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth."
And so basically, I'm just coasting down from the beginning that at this time, everybody are purely humans. That's it. There's no type of weird things that's going on. So now let's go to Genesis chapter 9, verse 18 through 19.
Genesis chapter 9 and verse 18. "And the sons of Noah went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread."
And so now we've completely understand that through Noah's sons, everybody on the earth came to being. And so it's no um, angels having sex with women, because it's just these men that's up on earth. You know what I'm saying? And so now let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 23.
1 Samuel 17 and verse 23. "And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words that David heard them."
And now let's skip up to verse 8. That's because this is one of the giants everybody knows, famously known, of Goliath. And so let's just keep reading. Let's go to verse 8.
Verse 8, 1 Samuel 17 and verse 8. "And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, Why are ye come out of the set out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants of Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me.
All right, kind. And so we know that this man is a Philistine. He's an actual man. He's just a big guy. And so now let's keep reading. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6. It's because he's a Philistine. So he comes from this guy. All right.
Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan.
All right. And so this is Ham. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 13 through 14.
Genesis 10, verse 13. And Mizraim begat Ludum, and Anim, and Lahabim, and Naphthalim.
In verse 14.
Verse 14. And Pathrusum, Pathrusum, and Calcum, out of whom came Fistum.
Yeah, and so if you don't mind, could you go to Fistum real quick? And another.
Okay, so like you.
If I think the brother gonna put it on the screen.
Come on.
All right, and so if you read that real quick, the Philistines. That's who the Philistines came from. So we know that the Philistines came from the descendants of Ham, right?
Come on.
All right, and so that means that Goliath came all the way from Ham, which was a man. So he had 100% a natural lineage, just because he was a Philistine. So now let's establish. Now we know that Goliath is just a tall man that's a pure human. And so now let's go to First Chronicles, chapter 1 and 12. Chapter 1, verse 12.
Come. First Chronicles 1 and verse 12. And Pathrusum and Casluhim, and whom came the Philistines, and kept.
And so I'm just reiterating. I'm reiterating in another passage. Is that it's cool. I know those names, they something else. but yeah, I'm just reiterating is that these people, they came from this man. Goliath came from this man. So it's no weird union from angels that produce Goliath. You know what I'm saying? So that right there should have, clearly prove it. And so now let's go to another giant. And so this is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 47.
Deuteronomy chapter 4. (47) verse 47. And they possessed his land, in the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side Jordan toward the sun rising.
And so that's another giant that's in the scripture is Og. He's a giant. And so as we see, if you start, you could just start that verse right there over.
Verse 47. They possessed his land, in the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side Jordan toward the sun rising.
And so we see that those people are Amorites, right? Yeah, they're Amorites. So and now let's go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 15 and 16.
Genesis 10, verse 15. And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite.
All right. And so as we see as well that these are descendants of who? I'll let you answer that question, Jordan. Who are these descendants of?
Ham.
Those are descendants of Ham. So we see that clearly, just off of these two people, clearly, Ham must have had some type of genetic, thing that was going on with him to where he just had descendants that were taller. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the way that it goes. Like it's like a man that's 6 foot something. His son is probably gonna be 6 foot something. His son is probably gonna be 6 foot something. A man that's 5'7", his son may be 5'6". You know what I'm saying? That's just simply the way it goes. And so now let's go to Amos chapter 2, verse 9.
Amos 2 in verse 9. Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them, whose height was like the height of the cedars, and he was strong as the oaks. Yet I destroyed his fruit from above, and his roots from beneath.
Yeah, kind of. And so people, they can misunderstand that he was little in the same passage. It's showing like allegory. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you read the latter end of it.
Con.
Yeah, you'll read that again real quick. Verse 9.
Salakia. Okay. And he was strong as the oaks, yet I destroyed his fruit from above, and his roots from beneath. You wanted me to start right there?
Yeah, kind. And so obviously it's like an allegory. It's just saying he was a big, strong person like a tree, and I chopped him by the root. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a brave talk, but some people, they'll take that literally, like, oh, these people. But most of the time, it's the notion of books like the Book of Enoch, where the Book of Enoch says that it was giants the size of, skyscrapers. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, there's no evidence of that. Nobody will ever find evidence of that because it's not true. Like giants, the tallest people were about 9 feet, all around that area. We're gonna kind of go into that too. But now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 3 and verse 11.
Con. Deuteronomy 3 and verse 11. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man.
Yeah, and so it says it's 9 cubits. And so if I'm not mistaken, a cubit is basically from your fingertip to your forearm, which would be about 18 inches. You know what I'm saying? And so it says that it was 9 cubits. So what's that? 9 times 18? What's that, brother? If only I can add that up real quick.
9 times 18.
And so
It's 162.
And so that'll be in today's terms about 13 and a half feet. You know what I'm saying? And so that'd be basically what it is. So his bed was about 13 and a half feet long. And so obviously this guy was under 13 feet. You know what I'm saying? And so now let's go to First Chronicles chapter 11, verse 22 and 23.
Con. First Chronicles 11, verse 22. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts. He slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Also, he went down to slew the lion in the pit in a snowy day. And he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. And in the Egyptian's hand was a spear like the weaver's beam. And he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and slew him with his own spear.
And so that verse right there says that this man was a man of great stature, right? And
Con.
so we got to see, like, this man right here was seven. He would have been a giant. He would have been 7 feet 7.5 feet tall. He'll be 7'6". It's people that exist right now that are that tall. You know what I'm saying? But this man will be a giant because it didn't mean that he was, the size of a tree, or the book of Enoch says 400 feet tall. These are giants that was in the earth in those days. All of these people are coming from man, and they're just tall people. This guy was 7.5 feet tall. He was called a giant. He was called a man of great stature. That's a giant. And you see clearly, if you read verse 23, what does it say? He was an Egyptian.
Yeah, he was an Egyptian.
Yeah. So all of these giants, they came from men. And so now let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 4.
1 Samuel 17 and verse 4. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits in a span.
Now let's go to verse 8.
Verse 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and he said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine? And ye servants of Saul, choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me.
Yeah, and so as we seen that 5 cubits was what was that 7.5 feet, and so he would have been probably around right around 9 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? That would have been the height of Goliath. And so also his spear would have been what's that? If you'll go to verse 4.
Verse 4. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits in a span.
And so, like I said, he'll be about 9 feet tall. I think it's like 9 feet 9 inches or something. And so, like I said, all these people were just really tall people. Like, we have evidence for that. We have evidence of people's legs being super long. And so, like I said, but when it comes to them being, 20, 30, 40 feet tall, and then, like I said, the book of Enoch, it says 400 some feet tall. We know that that's utterly ridiculous. Like, we got the heights of these people, and then not only do we have the heights of these people recorded, we have them going back to man every single time. Right. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6.
Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan.
And so now Mizraim is the Egyptian guy. So we see this Egyptian guy, this Philistine, all these people, they all come from Ham. So obviously Ham must have just had some type of genetic to where he was able to produce people that became taller. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was. It wasn't nothing supernatural. It was just simple genetics, obviously. And so now let's go to Numbers chapter 13 and verse 1 and 2.
Numbers chapter 13 verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, send thou man, and they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them.
All right, my thing cut out. You mind reading verse 2 again?
Salakia. Verse 2. Send thou a man, and they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them.
All right, and read verse 22 real quick.
In verse 22. And they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, and Anim, and Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zon in Egypt. Zoan in Egypt.
And so Anak, he would be a progenitor of a breed of giants as well. Like that, like it's a whole entire theory of people acting like these people came from angels or something, or they were supernatural. And so now let's go to, we're gonna kind of dig into that. Let's go to Judges chapter 1, verse 10.
Judges 1, verse 10. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba. And they slew Shishai and Ammon and Tamar.
Hey, you mind reading again? The brother had the wrong scripture on the screen.
Con. Okay.
Oh wait, he about to get it. Oh yeah, you'll read that over again.
Start at verse 10. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron Hebron before was Kirjath Arba. And they slew Shishai and Ammon and Talmai.
And so look up that word Kirjath right there in verse 10. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. And so this right here is the area where you see that these breed of giants would have been at. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when we look in that area, anybody can look up this area. You're not going to find any bones of people that was like 20, 30 feet tall. And so like basically, even just this right here, all they have to do is just look for any evidence of that in the entire area. Okay. Basically, I'm giving you coordinates for anybody to find giants that was 20 feet tall right there. You know what I'm saying? If you can find that, lesson's over. You know what I'm saying? If you can find any 20, 30 feet people, that's right there. And so now let's go to Joshua chapter 21, verse 11.
Joshua 21 and verse 11. And they gave them the city of Arba, the father of Anak, which the city of Hebron in the hill country of Judah, which the suburbs thereof round about it. Keep going. Salakia, can you hear me?
Oh, damn. Salakia, my bad. I had my mic on mute the whole time. And so basically, what's constantly going on is we're seeing that all these people come from Ham. All these people, they have land mass up in Hamite areas. Canaan is now the land of Israel. And so, but Canaan was a Hamite area. And so, like I said, they were all descendants of Ham. They all lived in this certain area. We have archaeology. We don't have anything that will match for them being, non-human or for them being 20, 30 feet tall. Hopefully, it's a lot of understanding. We've seen the heights of these people. We've seen that they all come back from man and they all go back to Ham. So basically, if anybody was to bring it up to you, like, where does the giants come from? They came from Ham. They ain't come from no angels. And so if anybody got anything to add, that's pretty much it. It's not too much that you can go into it. Later on, we can go into the sons of God things again. We touched on it before, but we can do it in another lesson at another time and kind of go into, because that's where this whole notion normally stems from. It's the son of God topic. But I'll end it by saying all glory to Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shah. And if any brothers got any questions, any comments that you want to read, any verses, you got the floor. Shalom.
Khan, I don't have anything. Good edification. I think it's pretty clear, that from what we read in the scriptures, that the giants wasn't, like 100 feet tall. But yeah, all praise to the Most High, man.
Yeah, and then also the biggest thing is you can look and see all of them went to him. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest aspect, is that's the lineage of them. They all go back to him. But yeah, if nobody got any more precepts, we'll let the brother close it out.
Yeah, that definitely wonderful lesson. Yeah, and again, Salakia family, I put it in the comments, man. Salakia. I typed it in, and it was on Jude, and I'm like, I'm hearing a brother read, and I'm just like, man, this don't look like the right scripture, man. What's going on? so Salakia.
Everybody.
God.
Hey, that's that technology for you, man.
God.
Trying to read Android.
God, but definitely just very, very, very good lesson, very informative. All praise to the Most High and the water. And then we're gonna close it out with number 6. 24 on down. Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And with that, I'll say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, family.
You just wanna do what you feel because you're living in the flesh. You got comfort in captivity, but this is not your race. Micah 2 and 10. We ain't adopt European culture, it was pushed on us. This nation ain't under God, they enemies of us. Everything he told us don't do, they making it legal. Killing babies before birth, man, abortion is evil. A child is a child, even if it's a fetus. I'm tired of the lies, all they do is mislead us. On my knees, I'm pleading, and the lies don't believe them. They deceitful creatures, such as dry like leeches. On our ancestor back, they built this wicked nation. Ain't no way to make it right here, ain't no justification. Here counsels on our behalf to set up indoctrination. LGBTQ, I don't care, it's abomination. You can't counsel me, cause I don't want the fame. I just wanna wake up my people and break the chain. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Cause you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So how you gonna say you got faith when you ain't got no work? Gotta afflict your flesh. You put the Most High first, but you just wanna get drunk and you just wanna pop perk, but you just wanna get high until you ride the earth. He don't want lip service, it's the heart he serves. If we keep the commandments, we could break these curses. Listen close to these verses. The scripture immersed in them to repent from sin. You gotta stop living in them. Them snakes got venom in them. The strike will kill you. That life you're living will leave you defenseless. Wake up, Israel, this might be your last chance. MJ last dance, you can't come back. Take advantage of the life you were blessed with. You're the Most High, that attention that your flesh get. I know it feel good, but it's killing y'all. Use the Bible like a mirror, fix your spirit up. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Cause you're living in the lust of your flesh. You're living in the lust of your flesh. So you just wanna do